They know me as the crazy one.
So the Porsche 944 is an amazing car, but most of them only came with a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter inline-4, single overhead cam, 2 valves per cylinder, pretty basic overall. Most people, their first thought would be, okay, let's swap in a big LS V8. And that's exactly what I drove a few years ago, but that introduces another problem. A lot of those LS swaps in front engine, rear wheel drive cars very quickly begin to feel like either Corvettes or Camaros. So how do you add more power with a better sounding engine without sacrificing a lot of what made the 944 such a great driving experience in the first place? Well, this turbocharged inline-5 example behind me might be the solution.
Yeah, so my name's Tyler, and this is my 1984 Porsche 944 with a Volkswagen 07K swap. So it dynoed at 409 horsepower, 350 foot-pounds of torque at 16 PSI. Volkswagen put the 07K, this 2.5 liter, in Golfs, Rabbits, Jettas. They did the internals and threw a turbo, and then they had them on the TTRSs, the RS3s, and I mean, nowadays that's developed into what's the Daza with an aluminum block, but since 2006, they've been putting these just about everything they could. So this engine in particular cost me $500.
What?
Has 27,000 kilometers on it, and I mean, if anything happens, it's not like it's going to be hard to find a new one. So.
So originally these came with power steering, and yeah, this one, it's long gone. So Porsche 944, one of the best bargain sports cars in 2026. I mean, front engine, rear wheel drive, almost perfect 50-50 weight distribution, as I'm sure you guys all know from the factory. They were equipped with a transaxle in the rear, so transmission and LSD, if it was optioned with that, from the factory, all in one unit back there. So that's how they got that 50-50 weight distribution. But what I'm interested in is how do you make these cars just more exciting? You know, all sports cars need to have something that other sports cars don't have. 4 cylinders are great, but in terms of sound and feel and exclusivity, to have that it factor, they don't really have that in most applications. There are exceptions. There are many exceptions. Super heavy shifter. There's boost. Let's go. Second gear. That is a massive hit of torque. So this inline-5 is not the newer, later Daza engines. Those cost $20,000 or $30,000. Think new RS3 engines. That's what I'm talking about, right? You can go nuts with those engines, right? 800, 1,000 horsepower with a built bottom end, no problem. But it's the money we're talking here. So it doesn't necessarily fit the bill when you're talking a 944, a cheap car to begin with, right? So as far as I know, this VW inline-5 never came from the factory in a longitudinally mounted rear wheel drive setup. So that's one hurdle. The second hurdle is they never came turbo from the factory. So obviously, with a swap, at least from my perspective, I want either the same amount of power as the car came with from the factory or more. And not only that, but I want the car to sound better. So how do you make a 4-cylinder sound better? Well, you add one more cylinder. Wow.
Finished it last August. Worked on it about 2.5, 3 years.
Did it start life as a turbo model, an NA model?
No, it's an NA model. That wasn't gonna do. It was slow, it was leaky, and it wasn't quite what I wanted to see out of this. It has a Pulsar 5855G on it, which is equivalent to a G30 770 from Garrett. It's effectively an unopened motor. I had to replace the oil pan to fit the subframe, but I've not touched pistons, rods, bearings, anything. It's more or less stock.
Is it a factory 944 front subframe?
It is, yes.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so really from the engine back,
yeah,
it's all factory 944, same torque tube, same transaxle. Even the control arm, subframe, everything's the same. It just kind of dropped in and gave ample room to do things with it.
That's crazy. So no firewall cutting or anything like that?
I had to cut the firewall
Okay.
because the kit that sells the engine mounts, the bell housing, it's developed around a late model 944. Early 944s had a few extra bits added to the firewall that had to be cut out,
Okay.
but besides a 2x6 box, it's unmodified. It really did just drop in there and bolt in.
And these transaxles, from what I've heard, can handle a ton of torque. So are you worried about that?
The NA can't.
Of course.
I swapped in a turbo transaxle, and at 400 and 350, it's you wouldn't want to push it more than that. It's both for the engine's sake and the transaxle, but the car weighs 2,700 pounds. It's all it really needs. So I'm not worried. I do have a spare transaxle with a LSD ready to go, but
Oh, nice.
I mean, this morning I was at Cars and Coffee. I try to use it for whatever I can, cruising, just driving with work, going to get groceries. It's kind of perfectly imperfect, and I like that because I'm not afraid to use it. I think if I ever painted the exterior, if I went further with it, I wouldn't want to drive it. But in its current state, I really do try to do whatever I can, whether it's twisty roads like this or just a quick drive to the mall. It's meant to do everything.
First impressions, it rides so nice. It is actually still incredibly comfortable. And given just looking at this car, the stance it has and the fitment with the wheels and the tires, I was expecting a little bit of rubbing, but none so far. It is deceptively quick. This thing hauls. This is so much fun. All right, boost hits after 3,000 RPM. It's got a healthy amount of turbo lag. It feels so good though. So, you know, all the controls, the steering, no power steering, it's super heavy. The shifter, like I mentioned, super heavy. It's very robust and solid in the way it feels. All Porsches of this era. This was before, of course, the 996 era where Porsche was hemorrhaging cash to try and save the brand, and thank God they did. But you shut the doors, it feels just like an air-cooled 911, 930, 964 era. So good in that regard. But the chassis itself still feels a little bit, I don't want to say floaty, but just compliant, comfortable, like a proper GT car. So it's a very interesting combination of two worlds. And combine that with a little bit of turbo lag, and it honestly, it's a great amount of power. It doesn't feel scary. It doesn't feel like it's going to jump out of its skin. Rev matching's easy. I mean, the torque just builds and builds. That sound is perfect. It doesn't quite scream the way a Daza engine screams. There's boost. You know why I like the turbo lag? This was probably subconscious. It's because it's also era correct. These cars, all of these 80s Porsches were laggy from the factory, and even though like this is not as laggy as a factory 930 turbo or a 964 turbo was back in the day, it still has that character. And this is from an era when turbo lag was something to be celebrated. It just kind of made the whole experience an event, and you had to adapt to the car rather than the car having all these computers and tech and sensors to adapt to you behind the scenes without you knowing. This is like you're just getting everything, and you have to kind of learn the car before you begin pushing it. And I love it, but in the same sense, if you're not pushing it, it's so easy to drive and it's kind of friendly to just cruise. What I'm surprised by is like, the steering's still sharp, it's got a ton of feel.
Yeah, so 944s came with a torsion bar assembly in the back. I removed the torsion bar and it's on coilovers all around. In order to do that though, I had to put aluminum arms from a 1986 944 in it. From there, yeah, it has the Willwood brakes. It has some custom 3-piece phone dials on it. So I'm
love this look.
Thank you.
I love this look.
I have 17x9s in the front, 17x10s in the rear on a 255.
ECU wise,
I'm on a Haltech 750 right now, so it's totally standalone. It is wired into all the gauges, so everything works.
yeah. You don't do boost by gear or anything like that?
No, not on the 750. No.
Gotcha.
I didn't want to have 400 horse and have the factory brakes or have this or that. So, I mean, if we started from the back up, it has a new fuel tank, it has a new fuel pump, it has new fuel lines, new brake lines, down to master cylinder brake booster. That's all been replaced. Not so much with the premise of a restoration, but more so just if I'm in here, it needs to be done.
Yes.
But then even on the engine, like the company that makes the swap kit is Boost Brothers Garage.
Okay.
So they have the engine mounts, the bell housing. Then it comes with a Spa turbo exhaust manifold. It has a custom intake manifold. We threw bigger injectors in there, so it has 650 cc's right now. It has the integrated engineering fuel rail, bunch of custom fab from a gentleman named Nick, who's at FL Speed Fab, a good friend of mine. So he did like rad pipes and everything. We did kind of a V-mount with custom brackets to mount it to the body, but it was super easy. I mean, if the rad and intercooler weren't there, you could see straight to the ground there.
Yeah.
Space wasn't the concern. It was really just making it look nice. But even like we went as far as battery cables. It has a whole custom kit for this car that was developed by a guy named DC Machinist in the States.
Whoa, I see it now, yeah.
Like that was a neat process calling him. I've never met the guy, but we're measuring it out over video calls and we knocked it out the first try. So, I mean, more or less, it's not as much as the 07K part of it is cheap. It's a $500 engine. There's all the supplementary stuff that had to go with it.
This car doesn't even have ABS. These early cars didn't even have ABS, so. No traction control, obviously. It is just you and the car. It's the best. It's absolutely the best. He's got 944 turbo seats in here. He's done some cool stuff with the interior too. It's got a Blaupunkt stereo in here, era correct, period correct. That's super cool. I think that was already in here when he bought the car. Doesn't really matter. Ooh, what do we have here? We've got a group, I wish you could see this, of what? Ferraris. Portofino, 488, 360, and ooh, 911. All right. That's a weird group. He's also done these gauges, turbo gauges in here. He painted the needle and kind of made these custom gauges to make it look like it was factory down here. Just awesome. Yeah, it takes bumps really well. This feels like a factory kind of just linear long pedal travel, so you can really modulate the throttle, and that helps with a big turbo. It feels like a Porsche. It feels like a Porsche. Couple things. Gearing is long. Gearing is still very long. This is very much a GT car. That's probably the only thing I would change about this. If there was one thing, it would be just shorter gears would make this just a manic. It would just be such an animal, but.
If the swap kit didn't exist as that kind of stepping stone into it, I don't think I'd be here. So I obviously huge thanks to the guys that came up with this idea, because they're crazier than I would have been with it. It's I probably if that stepping stone didn't exist, this would probably be an LS right now. So
yeah, totally. What were like the biggest kind of hiccups along the way? Were there any big ones? Any problems to solve?
No.
Wow, really? Okay.
I hate to say that, but
cool.
I mean, the biggest hiccup was maybe just time. I thought it was going to be a quick swap, and
Everybody does.
then it was that domino effect that you run into, but actually just fitting it and getting it all to work well and talk with each other was quite easy. It's just such a unique swap still, and I think that kind of spoke to me. Being a German engine and in a German car and kind of the same Volkswagen Audi umbrella made sense too, so that was more or less what sold me.
Awesome. Thanks again, Tyler.
No, thank you.
Come on. This is it. I would take this over an LS swap any day. Any day. I was also kind of expecting it to be a little bit more annoying to cruise in as far as NVH goes and just vibrations and noises, but it is just, it's not loud, it doesn't really drone. He's done a custom 3-inch exhaust from the turbo back, and it just kind of is happy to drive. The clutch isn't crazy aggressive, it's not that heavy. Guys, this is like, now you can use the car without having to worry about going to a Porsche dealership to get parts. You can go to Lordco, Napa, O'Reilly's, wherever, go on a road trip, and not only are parts going to be more accessible, but they're also going to be so much cheaper. Those are the two biggest benefits. And then to me, the side effect is just, oh, you get a much better sounding engine. Boom, done. And then once you've got that, you can just tinker with other little things on the restoration side of it to make this kind of as clean of an example as you can make it. So thank you, Tyler, for the seat time. Appreciate it so much. You guys, Tyler's stuff, his Instagram will be in the description. If you have any questions, maybe he's down to answer them. I don't know. Don't bombard his DMs, but you get the idea. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys haven't already, listen to our new podcast called Seat Time I'm doing with my buddy Elvis. The links to that are also in the description. We'll see you next time.